YouTube family, let's talk about why you should not game while angry. One of the things that I know is that a lot of men talk about their gaming experience as a way to escape, to get away from the struggles, the frustrations, the pressures of life, and take what's in here, our mind, and give it a safe space to exist. Um, Embrace our inner child a little bit, dream, and just have an opportunity to get away from those things. And I've always understood that. I don't want us to use those things as a crutch, but also at the same time, I understand the necessity of it. And so for me, it's super important to be able to have those moments of self care. So if gaming is that, by all means, continue to allow gaming to be that. As somebody who has dealt with anger issues most of my life, and then recently, within the last 4 or 5 years, started dealing with depression, I have been able to really take a look at gaming and see how it affects my varying emotional states. And so one of the things I've been doing is gaming through my most recent stretch of depression that has lasted really probably the last couple of years. But one of the things that I knew was really helping me, two things really. One, gaming, fighting gaming specifically, and two, writing. So I've been doing a lot of those things over the past couple of years. Writing an ebook, writing one of my comics, and then gaming every night, just spending some time playing some ranked matches on Sparking Zero. And I had gotten to a really good place. I was super excited. I was one win away from getting up to S5, which is a rank that I never really thought that I would get to. I always thought that based on the character that I used, based on the time that I didn't think I would be able to really invest, based on me not necessarily being a guy that goes and seeks out tips and tricks and meta to try to be successful, I didn't think that I'd get to like the S ranks. I thought I would be more of an A rank guy for most of the seasons. And so I caught a little bit of lag, and it really frustrated me. It really frustrated me that I felt like I was losing this set that should have very easily been one to bump me up to a rank that I never thought that I would really be able to get to. And so I realized that from that moment on, everything just began to spiral downward in a poor trajectory. And so the interesting thing about it is, looking back, I've dealt with lag a lot in Sparking Zero. And one of the reasons why it's irritating is I go do my speed test, and my speed test is like through the roof for just like basic gaming, like basic one-on-one connections. I should not be having that much trouble. And so it really upset me. It's almost like, dang, is there some supernatural thing that just doesn't want me to achieve this new cool thing that I thought, right, was beyond my grasp in a sense. And so what happened was I realized that I would start to make different types of mistakes that I otherwise wouldn't make. I was slower on my adjustments in ways that I really hadn't been over the past 2 weeks when I have been doing really well in my ranked matches. And so what I started to realize, and this was long after this entire ranked session, my mentality was having a very negative impact on my gaming experience. Because even when I think about the lag that I was experiencing, it wasn't anything too different from the lag that I had previously experienced. And it wasn't even a type of lag that I couldn't like make adjustments to, like I had in the past. Realize exactly where I'm lagging and how, make adjustments, have a new timing for my moves, and basically finish out matches or sets based on those adjustments. I wasn't able to do that. And then it got to a point where even when I had matches that I wasn't lagging in, I began to struggle even more. And all of it is rooted in this idea that I got angry early. And I was just trying to push through it, right? I thought that I could outskill, right, my frustrations, and I wasn't able to do it. And so for me, it just started to become worse and worse and worse and worse. And so I actually kind of learned something during this time. I learned that as someone who has dealt with anger issues most of my life, I can't game while I'm angry. I can game while I'm depressed, right? And that is a very interesting distinction. When I'm depressed, a lot of times that whole session is about whatever is on my mind. I got to get these things off my mind. A lot of my self-care, right, is rooted in trying to enjoy myself and then also giving myself a little bit of a distraction. Because if I just allow myself to just run rampant in my mind, I'm going to have a lot of issues. And so that's one of the things that, like, getting on late at night and running ones, right? Whether I was winning, losing, or whatever, right? My mind just wasn't on the things that dragged me down. And so I discovered that gaming really helps me when I'm depressed. Writing really helps me when I'm depressed. So it doesn't help me though when I am angry. I think it actually makes things worse. Things tend to happen in the games that make me more angry. And then when I realize that things are out of my control, I think that's one of the biggest like anchors for my anger. When I feel like certain things that should be in my control are out of my control, those are the things that I feel like really pile on when it comes to some of the anger that I have dealt with throughout my life. And so for me, I realized that through depression, I can be on the game all night. When I'm angry, my experience with the gaming simply gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And ultimately, I saw the results of that by going from one win away from S5 all the way down to A5. It was probably the longest losing streak in Sparking Zero that I've had in months. And the only thing that I can look back and say feels like the biggest contributor to that is the fact that I started off in a place of anger, never pulled myself out of it, and I tried to force the results of the gameplay to change my emotional state. Oh, I'll feel better when I win one more match because then I'll be back at the rank that I want to be at. And it just wasn't working. It wasn't working. I made a video a while back and I talked about how I have reached a level where I do well against the people who are at my level. I beat people who are better than me often, but I don't lose as much to people who shouldn't be beating me. Well, when I was in this place of anger, I was losing a lot. I was not making adjustments to people who should not have been able to be as successful as they were being in these fights. And so I titled this video, "You Shouldn't Game While You're Angry," but that's not really what this is all about. I want everyone to be able to take a moment, look at who they are, look at what their experiences have been, and determine for you when you maybe shouldn't be gaming. When will gaming help whatever you have going on? And when will it be worse? For some of you, you might have a great experience gaming while angry. You may be able to channel that energy differently, right? When you're gaming, that maybe I'm not able to do. And vice versa. Maybe you don't game when you're depressed because something about it just doesn't allow you to live in those moments. My tip, or me just using myself as an experience, is really just me saying, hey guys, like, figure out what that is for you. Whether it is having anxiety, whether it is anger management, whether it's depression, all these different varying emotional experiences can have an effect on how you game, and then ultimately have an effect on the different areas of your life. And I've recently, as much as I felt like I've known about myself, as much as I felt like I have grown and have a admirable level of emotional intelligence, this is a moment where I'm looking back and I'm saying, okay, I have enough information to determine that when I start to get angry, it's probably not going to be the best opportunity to be on the game. It probably won't do as much for me. When I'm depressed, hey, maybe that is the perfect time to get on there, because again, me being depressed is often about being able to distract myself, being able to lean into some of the things that I really enjoy. And so I just want everyone, especially men, to be able to figure out what that is so that you don't ultimately taint your gaming experience. Because if you start to force gaming in places where it doesn't belong, or you allow different things to have this negative impact on the game, and now the game can't even be what you need it to be, then we have a lot of issues. So I know this isn't my normal thing. I know that these are kind of sometimes uncomfortable conversations, especially with men. And I know sometimes gaming, you guys don't even want to think about this stuff, but I did want to share my experience and hopefully it helps somebody. So if you like this video, like it. If you think someone else might like it, share it. And if you want to see more, I really hope that you would subscribe.